She cheated on me, right in our bed, while I was holding flowers for her. I stood in the doorway with a bouquet of red roses in one hand and a bottle of our honeymoon wine in the other, watching my wife moan another man's name. Hey, my name is Ryan. 7 years of marriage. 7 years that started like a damn fairy tale and ended with me wanting to smash everything in sight. We met in college. She was the girl who laughed so loud the whole cafeteria turned. I was the quiet engineering guy who spilled coffee on himself trying to ask her out. That laugh hooked me instantly. We moved fast. Late night talks, cheap dates, the kind of love that makes you skip classes just to be together. 2 years later, I proposed on the roof with a ring I saved 6 months for. She said yes before I finished the sentence. The first years were perfect. Greece scooter trips, dancing until sunrise, her whispering, "This is forever," in my ear. But life crept in. My promotions meant constant business trips. Her advertising job meant late nights and just friends at the office. Slowly, the kisses became quick pecks. Date nights became, maybe next week.
What are you doing?
She started saying, "Ryan, you don't see me anymore." I brushed it off.
Ryan, I can
I was
explain.
building our future, right? That day, I was supposed to be gone until tomorrow. Meeting ended early. I thought, perfect. Surprise her. Roses, wine, her favorite chocolate cake. I pictured her face lighting up. I opened the apartment door quietly. Soft jazz playing, dim lights. Then the sounds hit me like a truck. Moans, his voice, her voice. My stomach dropped. I set the bag down silently and walked toward the bedroom door on legs that felt like they weren't mine. It was cracked open. I pushed it wider, heart hammering. There they were. Tyler, her, just a colleague. Tall, cocky, always joking. They were on our bed, the one we picked together. Her blouse half open, his shirt off, her head thrown back, eyes closed, moaning. Tyler, yes, harder. Time stopped. A wave of pure rage exploded in my chest. I wanted to smash that door. I wanted to drag him out and beat him until he couldn't stand. I imagined ruining both their lives right there, calling his wife,
Stay here with me.
posting everything online, screaming until the neighbors came. But I didn't move. I just stood there, flowers still in my hand, watching the woman I loved give herself to someone else. But what I saw next destroyed me even more. She grabbed his back the same way she used to grab mine on those Greece nights. She whispered things she only ever said to me, and I realized this wasn't the first time. I wish I never opened that door. I stepped back quietly, walked out of my own apartment, and sat in my car for 2 hours, shaking. Why didn't I burst in? Because I loved her too much to lose her in 1 second of rage. Or maybe I was a coward. Or maybe I needed to understand how we became strangers. The next 3 weeks were pure hell. During the day, I smiled like nothing happened. I hugged her in the mornings. I brought flowers just because. I canceled trips and cooked dinner. But inside, I was burning. Every time she touched me, I saw his hands. Every time her phone buzzed, I imagined it was him. I started checking her messages when she was in the shower, something I never did before. I hated myself for it, but I couldn't stop. One night I almost snapped. She came home late again. I smelled his cologne on her jacket. I stood in the kitchen gripping a knife while chopping vegetables, thinking, one wrong word and I end this tonight. My hands were shaking. I pictured calling him and telling him I knew. I even typed the message 3 times and deleted it. but I kept the fake smile. She noticed something was off. She started cooking my favorite meals, cleaning everything, initiating sex like she was trying to erase the guilt. But every touch felt fake. Guilt was eating her alive. I could see it in her eyes. She jumped at every notification. She avoided looking at me too long. And I kept pushing the knife deeper into my own chest by staying silent. And that's when I realized something terrifying. Part of me wanted her to suffer. Part of me enjoyed watching her squirm. I was becoming someone I didn't recognize. Jealous, angry, calculating. I started testing her. I'd say, "I saw Tyler at the office today," and watch her face go pale. She'd stutter and change the subject. I almost confronted her twice. Once in the car when she got a text and hid the screen. I pulled over, heart racing, ready to explode. But I bit my tongue again. I was living in my own personal war zone. Nights I couldn't sleep. I lay beside her replaying that bedroom scene on loop. I cried in the shower so she wouldn't hear. I drank alone after she fell asleep. I Googled how to ruin someone's life quietly. Then I'd hate myself and delete the history. The breaking point came exactly 1 month later, Tuesday evening. Dinner was done. She was washing dishes when she suddenly froze, turned around, and her face crumpled. "Ryan, I can't keep lying. I have to tell you." She sat at the table, hands shaking. I sat across from her, calm on the outside, storm inside. "I cheated on you, with Tyler, twice. The first time was the day you came home early, and again last week. I felt so invisible. You were always gone. I needed someone to see me, but it was a mistake. The worst mistake of my life. I only love you. Please, forgive me if you can." She slid off the chair onto her knees, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. "I don't deserve you. I'll do anything. Just don't leave me." I let her cry for a full minute. Then I looked down and said the words I carried for 30 days. "I know, baby. I've known since the very first day." Her head snapped up. Shock. Pure horror. "You saw?" "Yes. I came home early. I was holding flowers for you when I opened that door. I stood right there and watched everything." She covered her mouth, eyes wide with terror. The crying turned into something broken and ugly. She clutched my legs, begging, "Why didn't you scream? Why didn't you throw me out? Why did you stay silent?" I pulled her up into my arms. She buried her face in my chest, soaking my shirt. I stroked her hair and finally let the truth out. Because I was furious. Because I wanted to destroy everything. Because I almost called him and ended both your careers. Because I imagined smashing that door every single night. But I also realized I was part of this mess. I stopped seeing you. I stopped fighting for us. That month of hell showed me exactly what I'd lose. So I chose to become the man you fell in love with again. And wait to see if you choose us too. We cried for hours. We talked until sunrise. She told me every detail. How flirting at work turned into loneliness taking over. I told her about the rage, the near snaps, the nights I almost walked out forever. That night, we held each other like survivors. We made love slowly, carefully, like two broken people trying to glue the pieces back. 6 months later, our marriage is different, stronger in some ways, but the scar is still there. I forgave her, but some nights I still see that moment in the doorway. Some nights I still smell his cologne on her jacket, even when it's not there. Trust comes back slowly, painfully. We go to counseling. We have new rules. No phones at dinner, weekly dates, total honesty even when it hurts. I still bring flowers. She still looks at me like I'm her only man. But we both know the wound will never fully disappear. Sometimes the strongest love is born from the greatest pain, but the pain leaves a mark you carry forever. Would you have stayed silent like I did, or exploded right there? Could you forgive a betrayal this deep if the person showed real remorse and fought to change? Or would you walk away and never look back? Write your honest thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If this story hit you hard, if it made your heart race or your eyes water, smash that like button and subscribe. Turn on notifications. The next stories are even rawer. Thank you for watching. Your support means everything. See you in the next one.